Some days I feel strong, and other days I still feel like I'm standing in the middle of the ruins. If you know that feeling, this video is for you. Today, I want to talk about something I believe deeply, that healing from betrayal isn't just an emotional journey. It isn't just a psychological one. It is a spiritual one. And when we bring those two things together, what science understands about how we heal and what faith tells us about why we heal, something really beautiful becomes possible. I want to walk gently through what that looks like, not just today, but 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. So if you're ready, even just a little bit, let's take this walk together. What betrayal actually does to you, the psychology. Before we talk about healing, I want to talk about what actually happened inside you when you were betrayed. Because I think understanding this, really understanding it, is one of the most compassionate things you can do for yourself. Psychologists who study betrayal trauma describe it this way. When someone we deeply trust chooses to betray that trust, our brain doesn't just register emotional pain, it registers danger. The nervous system goes into a kind of survival mode, hypervigilance, intrusive thoughts, difficulty sleeping, difficulty concentrating. Some people experience symptoms very similar to post-traumatic stress. And mind you, this is not weakness. This is your mind and body doing exactly what they were designed to do, protect you from a threat. But here's the tender part. The threat is gone, and yet the nervous system keeps responding as though it isn't. That's why you can be months out from the betrayal and still feel that sudden wave of pain. Still find yourself replaying conversations. Still feel unsafe in your own body sometimes. Understanding this matters because it changes how you treat yourself in this season. You are not too sensitive. You are not stuck. You are healing from something that your whole system, mind, body, and spirit experienced as a wound. And wounds, when they are treated and tended to gently and consistently, they heal. What faith says about this season. Now, I want to bring faith into the room because I think sometimes we separate these two things, psychology and faith, as though they belong in different conversations. But in my experience, they belong together, especially here. Here is what I believe about the season you are in right now. God is not surprised by what happened to you. He was not caught off guard by the betrayal, by the pain, by the confusion you feel. And He has not stepped back from your story because it got complicated. In fact, I believe the opposite. There is a passage I keep coming back to. Psalms chapter 34 verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. See? Not distant, not watching from a faraway land. The Bible says, close. That means right now, in the middle of the ruins, The place where you feel most alone, most shaken, most unsure of everything. That is precisely where God is nearest to you. Psychology tells us that healing requires safety, that the nervous system can only begin to settle when it believes it is safe. And faith, I believe, is one of the deepest sources of that safety. Not because it removes the pain, but because it anchors us to something, or more appropriately, someone that cannot be shaken, even when everything else has been. 1 year from now, the first sign of rebuilding. So what does it actually look like, this quiet rebuild of psychology and faith together as time goes on? Let's start with year 1. The first year of healing is tender. It's not linear. There will be weeks that feel like progress and then a day that knocks you back. This is completely normal, and it does not mean you're failing. What psychology tells us about this first year is that the primary work is regulation, helping your nervous system learn slowly and gently that you are safe. This happens through consistency. Consistent therapy, if that's available to you, consistent routines, consistent rest, consistent gentle movement. Your body needs to relearn safety as much as your mind does. And what does faith look like in year 1? It looks like bringing God, the honest version of yourself, not the strong version, not the one that has it together, the one that is confused and grieving, and some days angry, and some days just exhausted. Like the Psalms, which are full of that kind of honest, raw prayer. David didn't come to God polished. He came to God real. And I believe that's exactly the kind of prayer that reaches heaven most quickly. By the end of year 1, if you've been doing this gentle, consistent work, the psychological and spiritual together, something begins to shift. The mornings feel a little lighter. There are moments of genuine peace, even if they are brief. Your sense of self, the one that was shaken by the betrayal, begins to quietly return. 2 to 3 years, trust, identity, and spiritual growth. In the second and third year, the work goes deeper. Psychologically, this is where identity reconstruction happens. When someone betrays us, especially a long-term partner, part of what we grieve is the version of ourselves that existed inside that relationship. And in this season, the quiet rebuild asks us a really important question. Who am I outside of what happened to me? This is where therapy, journaling, or community, whatever tools resonate with you, become so valuable. Because this isn't just about getting over the betrayal. It's about coming home to yourself, rediscovering what you value, what you need, and what makes you feel alive. And spiritually, this is one of the most profound seasons of growth I've seen in people who walk this path with faith. Because when you've been through something that shook your foundation and you've chosen to rebuild that foundation on God rather than on people or circumstances, something unshakable forms inside you. Your faith becomes yours in a way that perhaps wasn't before. Not inherited, not comfortable, but tested. And, ladies, real. There's a verse that speaks to this so beautifully. In Romans 5 verses 3 to 4, we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Not suffering for its own sake, but suffering that is walked through with faith, with intention, with gentleness towards yourself, producing something in you that could not have been formed any other way. 5 years from now, rooted, whole, and walking in purpose. 5 years. I want to hold this gently with you rather than make it feel like a distant finish line. 5 years of quiet rebuilding, psychologically and spiritually, doesn't produce someone who has forgotten the pain. It produces someone who has been transformed by walking through it. Psychologically, you are what researchers call post-traumatically grown. There is actually a body of research on this. The idea that people who move through trauma with support and intention often emerge with greater compassion, deeper relationships, a clearer sense of purpose, and a resilience that cannot be manufactured any other way. And spiritually, you are someone who knows, not just believes, but knows that God is faithful. Because you lived it. You walked through the darkest season and He was there. He was close and He built something in the ruins. 5 years from now, you will look back at this season, this tender, painful, sacred season, and you will see what you couldn't see today. That it was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of the truest version of it. Now, I want to leave you with something soft to carry today. You don't have to have this all figured out. You don't have to heal on anyone's timeline. And you don't have to be strong every day. But I do want to gently encourage you. Don't walk this alone. Bring your psychology into it. Understand what's happening in you. Be patient with your nervous system. Get support where you can. And bring your faith into it. Come to God honestly. Come to Him often. Come to Him even on the days you're not sure what to say. Because healing that is held by both, by understanding and by faith, is the most complete kind of healing I know. Once again, Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." You are not alone in this. You are not forgotten. And you are not finished. Take your time. Be gentle with yourself. And I'll be right here, walking alongside you.